Welcome everyone to another episode of Comic Movie Marks. My name is Matt, and I am one half of the Movie Mark. Next to me is the fifth horsewoman, my co-host Shane.
And I'm the hottest one.
Today we will discuss WWE Battleground, the event that saw no title changes, and the most overused move in pro wrestling, the super kick.
You mean sports entertainment?
No, it's fucking pro wrestling. We'll talk about all the matches from top to bottom and give our half-assed opinion, just like this intro. Let's pop some Adderall and hope USADA doesn't take Orton to Suplex City. This is WWE Battleground Ultimate Breakdown.
Drink it in, man. This is the start of the new era and the brand split.
Oh yeah, here we go. We're brand splitting shit now.
Oh yeah. That's something that they've never done before.
Yeah, it's so unique, so special.
Yeah.
With that Universal title.
Yeah, let's hope it works better this time. Yeah, the Universal title. What a terrible name. And I thought they were going to stick with one belt, or I was hoping for. I guess I shouldn't say I thought. I was hoping they would stick with one title, and no.
I was trying to think of names earlier. I came out like the Ultimate title. You can have Warrior's face
Ultimate.
on it. I won the Ultimate title in the Ultimate competition.
Yeah, well, it just makes me wonder. So is the other one the WWE Championship, and then this one's the WWE Universal Championship? So if you're on Raw and you're that champion, you're better? That's what it goes back to the same confusion as before. Well, is the WWE champion better, or is the World Heavyweight champion better? Because you would think if you represent the entire world, you're better, but that's the WCW belt.
Right, so you're not worth anything.
Yeah, so that's the argument. So who's better? You don't end the season at, here's your NFC champion and your AFC champion. All right, see ya. You fucking go to the Super Bowl. Like, gosh, I don't know. That's a whole nother thing. But I was hoping they would stick with at least one main title. And
that pretty much just leads right into the whole problem I have with this thing.
Yeah.
They finally get talent. They've built a roster. Mm-hmm. They're getting decent storylines out of everybody. They've built up certain factions very well.
Right.
And now they're splitting people apart.
Yeah. Already.
That's the biggest problem. I hate this brand split. It's stupid. I started getting back into wrestling a little bit now. And now they did this. And now they're taking away a lot of the best parts of it.
Yeah, so I don't mind the brand split. I like the idea because you can start hopefully focusing on different people. They brought up a whole bunch of people from NXT. That's a whole nother fucking thing that I'm about to get into. So I like the idea of the brand split is cool. I liked it the first go around when they did it. Again, minus the two championship belts that they had. At least that time it was like just after getting WCW, so they still kind of had the WCW belt, so somewhat made sense. But the problem is from the actual draft and on, because my fear was that Raw was gonna get the majority of the top guys, which they did, and SmackDown would get a sprinkle in, and then they're left to kind of fend for themselves and try to make them work, which that's not necessarily a bad thing. You go back to, I didn't watch it a whole lot, but I know when Paul Heyman was running SmackDown, that's when he built up Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Edge, all the single wrestlers, and then they would end up getting taken and end up going to Raw after that. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just right off the bat, it's an uphill climb, and it doesn't make sense to actually have a draft. If all of a sudden early on you're having Becky Lynch picked, just because she's a woman, we need a woman, and then like Baron Corbin was up there, and you look at the Raw roster, and it was Seth Rollins, Charlotte the women's champion, Finn Balor from NXT, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, The New Day, Sami Zayn, like. The list is like they had a just chunk of guys that you can tell were, you don't touch them. This is what's going to Raw. This is who's going to SmackDown. Like, it was completely picked before, which isn't surprising. I just wish it was a little bit more diverse, and they would have kept some of the teams like the Bullet Club together.
The club,
sorry.
Copyright.
Yeah. Yeah, that they would have kept them together, because I loved what they were doing. And then, just for a shakeup, we're going to split them up already. And there goes the whole dream of Finn Balor showing up and, and them kind of building that whole thing is to maybe not being an NWO-esque as far as like taking over the company, but at least being like
a dominant faction.
Yeah, exactly. Badass dudes you don't want to fuck with. And
Right.
they had that, and already they screwed it up.
One of the biggest flaws with the draft is NXT, actually, because you have all these talents, and if you're actually, I know this is a work, this is fake,
Right.
they're setting things up, but if you want to actually have an iota of intelligence, you're going to be drafting Samoa Joe,
Right.
Shinsuke
Nakamura.
and a lot of other guys that are much higher up on the list.
Right. Not Mojo
Bailey,
Raleigh.
Mojo Raleigh. Which, when we get to the breakdown of Battleground, good God, what an idiot. So, but that whole thing, so there should have been something put out there about, I don't know, William Regal saying you can't take these guys, I need these, or something. I don't know. Just some stupid stipulation. A good old-fashioned wrestling stipulation.
I wish my whole idea was they should use NXT as kind of like a free agent market where they're still down there, so you don't draft any of those guys. They're not a part of the draft because they're not a part of the main roster. As soon as they said, I think it was 6 different people from, it could be a tag team from NXT are going to be drafted, I knew that was going to be, it's okay, whoever they feel they deem worthy to go up right now. And I knew it wasn't going to be Samoa Joe because he's the champion. I had a feeling it wasn't going to be Shinsuke. We knew that Finn Balor was going to go up. I'm shocked Bailey didn't go up. And some of the other ones, Nia Jax, like really, they thought that Eva Marie was ready to go back up to the main roster already. I don't really agree with that. There's some of them, American Alpha, Finn Balor, and Alexa Bliss, that I thought could fit well in the main roster, but it should be, you could almost have kind of like a storyline where the general managers are showing up and trying to negotiate and talk to the NXT wrestlers about, hey, what show do you want to go to?
Right.
Like kind of use that aspect, and then they can pluck random people. Like, oh, you know what? We were able to sign Mojo Raleigh. We're having a hard time with signing these guys because there's guys who came over from TNA that probably should have gone up. Like you said. I know it's a work, but if it was an actual draft, there's a whole crapload of people that could have gone up before Mojo and Nia Jax.
They don't want to completely screw NXT.
Yeah, right.
They don't want to...
Which makes sense.
They don't want to take every good talent, which easily Samoa Joe and others would be perfect, would probably fit in great right now in the main roster. But you don't want to completely purge the NXT roster.
Right. Which is why I think they left Finn Balor in there for so long. And maybe that's why they left Bailey. But again, it goes back to if you're actually drafting these people, then actually think this through, the whole process through of like, okay, how is this going to be perceived? Because everyone looked at it as like, okay, well, if this is an actual draft, how come Bailey didn't get called up and Samoa Joe? It's weird. So right off the bat, right from the draft get-go, it's already,
and
falling
again,
apart.
It's just my biggest problem with this whole thing in general. The draft is flawed. It's stupid right now, especially when you've been struggling to build talent for a while, and you finally starting to get that talent that you need, and building stars and stables and all that, and now you're just fucking with it to try to bring up ratings on another show that you have. Right. That's what it seems like to me, because SmackDown has some of the lowest ratings of all time. Right. In Raw, too. Yeah. But SmackDown was terrible.
So that's why I was in favor of it, is they were both dropping, so kind of shaking things up a little bit, and maybe this opens things up. They can start plucking more guys from TNA, more guys from Ring of Honor. They have the Cruiserweight Classic that's going on right now, which
Raw.
is well, they're going to have a Cruiserweight division, but the Cruiserweight Classic is on the WWE Network.
Oh,
and
okay.
And so it's been great so far. So they can pluck some of those guys, so they can really build 2 solid rosters on SmackDown and Raw. That's the concept of it, but already they're just screwing it up. And so I guess we'll see how it goes from here. But I don't know. I'm up in the air. I'm trying to stay optimistic about it, but already I'm like,
apparently the Raw right after this was good.
Yeah.
I have yet to see it.
Yeah.
Even though we're recording afterwards.
Same here. Right. Yeah.
But we do know about the Universal title and the new women's champ.
Right. Yep. So, and the number 1 contender.
Yeah. The fatal 4-way matches.
Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds, it got the internet talking positive about the WWE for once.
Yeah, we just printed our roster from CBS News.
Yeah,
so CBS is paying attention to this whole thing.
Yeah, so it's good in that regard, but I don't know. I'm, like I said, trying to stay optimistic about it. I'm glad that Dean Ambrose kept the WWE title, but we'll get into that.
Yep, I think we might get into that right now. Then
yeah,
let's do it. Let's get the Battleground.
Oh yeah,
analysis.
And as for the club, you guys are like a teenage girl in the Scream trilogy. We all know you're gonna make a bad decision. But that bad decision making starts the second you walk down that aisle and get in this ring. So, Cass, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do.
What's that?
I'm gonna give him a little advice.
Okay.
Don't eat yellow snow.
How you doing?
Don't pee in the wind.
How you doing?
Always lie on your resume. Don't wear Crocs. Ever. Never make eye contact with anyone when you're eating a banana.
Take a note, John? Shut up, Darren. I'm going to miss that.
All right, so the first match in the pre-show was the Usos against... Now, we kind of made a mistake in the last one. I'm pretty sure we called them...
I made no mistake. They said Febreze.
I didn't correct you, so Febreze sounded good. They're trying to clean up.
It was like Fawn Breeze or some shit like that.
Yeah, Fawn Breezango or something?
Yeah, Breezango.
Breezango, okay.
That's how they're calling themselves now, Breezango. Now that they're winning, they want a better name.
Yeah, okay.
So in this one, this was the first match of the pre-show, the only match of the pre-show. A lot of high spots early on. After 3 minutes, the whole tag team dynamic just went out the window. It was basically free-for-all after 3 minutes because this was already a short match at 6 minutes, 6-minute area.
Okay.
Basically, halfway through the match, they just said, fuck the tag team elements of everything, and then just dived on each other. Constant high spots. Just kept doing it over and over.
Yeah, that's my problem with the Usos is I've tried to like them, but that's kind of their formula, and they've been taken down to the pre-show for a while now. They were tag team champions at once, but you can kind of their matches were very formulaic, and people say that fucking Ric Flair's matches were exactly the same, but at least these guys, I don't know much about how to put together a match, but these guys I knew. I can tell exactly how their match is going, and ultimately it leads into fly over the top rope and all these high spots and stuff. Basically the same.
I think that really comes down to almost any match in the pre-show.
That's true.
I think they fall apart so fast because they're rushed because it's the pre-show.
Yeah, 6 minutes. You have to try to make it make sense of like, we're going to beat these guys somehow in 6 minutes.
Right, and so they had a nice, decent finish. Went for the splash off the top rope. One of those Uso guys. I'm not going to try to figure out who's who. Breeze puts his knees up. He lands on the Uso lands on the knees. Then he catches him in a roll up. It's the process of the knees and pins him for the uno, dos, and three.
All right, we're bilingual. Actually, I like that finish.
Un, deux, trois.
There we go. A little bit of French.
1 year French. That's all I got.
But yeah, that was a solid finish, I thought, for a pre-show match.
Right.
Pretty creative.
And they even got a bit of a pop. I don't know if they got the pop because they just beat the Usos or they're actually getting over. I'm not quite sure. But the fans did give them a decent...
People are starting to hate the Usos.
Just because they were they teamed up with Roman Reigns for a little bit. And now all of a sudden they're fucking heels.
People put it together. Oh, wait, you're related?
It's amazing how far that team has fallen. I remember before we went to WrestleMania, they were like the hottest tag team, and then that one of them got hurt.
Right.
I remember that there was supposed to be a fatal tag team match or something like that in that WrestleMania we went to, and the one got thrown into the barricade so he could be because he was injured.
Right.
And he was basically taking a nap the whole time, and then they had to wheel him out. And then ever since then, man, these guys have just fallen off.
Yeah.
They have nothing to them anymore. They tried to team up with Reigns. Someone thought that was a good idea, and it got even worse for them. So
they've had, again, I can't really tell them apart, but they've had some good moments in singles on SmackDown. You know, there's been some actually good promos between whoever was feuding. Like, there were times when, like, Chris Jericho would come walking in. He's like, "What the hell are you looking at?" And then they'd have like a good back and forth. Solid stuff from them there. I'm not a huge fan of them, so I could really care less. It sucks that they were at the height, like you said, WrestleMania 31. Now look at them, pre-show guys.
So the next match we have is Dana Brooke and Charlotte versus Bayley and Sasha.
Oh yeah, the mystery partner Bayley.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I missed that. It was such a mystery.
Right.
I barely know who the chick is, and I knew she was going to be the tag team partner.
I was praying that everyone was right, because if it wasn't, people were starting to say, well, maybe Nikki Bella, or
that would be funny as shit.
They threw out some other random names that it could have been like Paige or someone. But the weird part about this is apparently JBL said a couple times throughout the night that Bayley, this is a one-off. So she actually didn't get drafted.
Yeah.
And that just pissed me off, because I was looking forward to her getting drafted. And again, going back to what we just talked about with the draft, it would have made sense. And then I'm like, well, okay, if she comes out and she's the mystery partner, and then, that would make sense. And then she's essentially belongs to a show after that. Okay, perfect. But nope, they made it a point. And it sounded like, because I missed the first time he said it when you pointed it out, and then he said it again.
Yeah, they kept repeating that shit.
I think that was a missed opportunity. They could have used that as, well, Sasha picked her as a mystery partner, so now they can have the general managers going, hey, we want you to come to our show. Well, wait, we want you to come to our show. This is what we can offer you. Like, that would have been good, real short, could have been done real quick, and, backstage cutscenes kind of things, and, I don't know, blown opportunity in my opinion.
Right. So the match kind of went down. Nothing too memorable in it. They were really rushing through moves. Mm-hmm. Sasha tried to do a hurricanrana off the top rope, and it looked bad. It was kind of botched. It was, stiffened up, and they landed awkward. Other than that, then Michael Cole had his great moment. And I quoted this, Sasha takes out Bayley. And when it was clearly another way, it was Sasha taking out Charlotte, or maybe it was Dana
Brooke, I think.
Yeah, Sasha was taking out Dana Brooke, but Cole says at the 7-minute mark, Sasha takes out Bayley and I put good job, Cole.
Yeah, well, it's shocking coming from him.
Sasha wins with the bank statement.
Yeah,
taps out the champ.
Like you said, nothing too memorable. It sucks that these women were only given like 7.5 minutes roughly.
Right,
is how long it went. And in NXT, I've liked them all. They put on great matches, even Dana Brooke. But since being called up, and I've talked about this on a previous show, not a huge fan of Charlotte. Everything just seems so awkward with her. I don't know if it's the pressure that she's trying to live up to or what.
Her fake tits.
Yeah, something.
Her balls.
That could be it.
Yeah, I saw when she got tumbled over. You can see that.
Yeah. Dana Brooke, same thing. I liked her.
Her balls?
Right. She's got balls too. I liked her in NXT. Comes up, everything is just a cluster, and I don't know if it's rushing or, she's no longer trying to prove herself. I have no idea. Sasha, I feel like, is just kind of being thrown into the mix randomly. Like you said, we know the results of Raw from last night. She won.
Wins.
So hopefully, it's a upward direction for the women's division, because they tried stealing the flair, no pun intended, of the women's NXT division when that thing was hot. So they brought all these girls up, and we're like, okay, now it's the Divas Revolution. Yeah, look how awesome we are. And it's been garbage since the beginning. They've had some somewhat decent spots within it, and here we are. I don't know. I cringe watching some of these matches, and this one was okay. I was happy to see Bayley, and that was kind of it.
So I guess Sasha now is the Universal Women's Champion. She's on Raw.
Right. Yeah.
So she's got to be the Universal Champ now.
So I wonder if they're going to bring back a SmackDown Women's belt or something.
Divas titles on SmackDown.
Ooh. Yeah. I think they're trying to drop that term. But that might be. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, then we go to the New Day and the Wyatts. again, this pay-per-view, there was a pretty constant theme for me. Nothing too memorable in a lot of it. It seemed like the story they were trying to tell in this was Xavier Woods conquering his fear with Bray Wyatt. That's kind of what I took from the match. So
I believe you. My note is I was making a sandwich.
All right.
I was making a sandwich during this match, so I didn't see jack shit.
Thank you, Porter Subs. Yeah. It's weird because I feel like...
I like how I said I was making a sandwich and you said, thank you, Border Subs.
Why? For distracting you?
No, because most people would assume if you're buying from Porter Subs, it's already made.
Oh. We worked there. It was catered. All right, I gotcha. I wasn't following. Oh, man. Anyways, I felt like these matches were a lot shorter. It seemed like in this. The last one we did was Money in the Bank, and most matches were around the 10-minute mark.
Right.
And that's why I love timing them. You kind of get an idea of where they put the main events, some of the mid-card matches, and they crunched these ones down even more, which I thought 10 minutes felt rushed. So this one was just shy of 9 minutes, is what I clocked it at, 8:45. Just, again, it's just kind of... to quote Austin, it was what it was. Nothing too crazy. Bray hits the Sister Abigail for the win.
So next we have Zack Ryder versus Rusev.
Yes.
I kind of wrote down, Rusev just didn't seem to care about this match at all. I don't know if he was told to act like he doesn't give a fuck about Zack Ryder and the fact that he's in a match.
That might be. Because the whole story playing up to it, or leading up to it, was Zack Ryder was trying to challenge Rusev, and he was not doing it, and then eventually he accepts the challenge. I don't even remember what pushed him over the edge. Something pushed him over the edge. He attacked.
Woo.
Yeah.
Too many woos.
Yeah, that's enough for me.
Yeah. I'm stopping this woo movement.
Yeah, I liked parts of this match. The standout part that I marked out for was Ryder had Warrior-esque tights. He had Sting jacket and Macho Man glasses. I actually thought it was a Macho Man jacket, but I saw on his Instagram page afterwards, it was a Sting jacket from Great American Bash, and then he had Macho Man's glasses. So that was pretty cool. I did notice the Warrior and the jacket part, so that was pretty awesome. That was memorable. And then Rusev still had the Us Champ. Still haven't quite figured that out yet.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Us Champ.
Yeah, really on his tights. Anyways.
Ryder did have a couple good moments. He had a good counter on a suplex. Rusev went for a suplex, and he landed on his feet in the middle of the suplex. I thought that was kind of good for a neck breaker. Good reversal. Rusev wins with a decent finisher. He's got the accolade. Ryder's fighting. He actually gets up on all fours, and then Rusev just freaking flips back. He just flips back and then folds his ass over.
Right.
Finishes him off that way.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I was bummed that Ryder didn't get the win. And then the part to follow was Mojo Rawley comes out to help him.
Okay, so this Mojo Rawley guy, I didn't know who he really was. Mm-hmm. Part of the bro movement or whatever the fuck this shit is. And the bro squad, whatever the hell it was. And he comes running out. I'm like, this big ass fucker comes running, screaming. And he just stands there screaming at Rusev's face. And Rusev was just looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing?
Right, yeah. And I wouldn't have minded too much. The things that I didn't like about it was immediately I go, okay, great. So it's the Hype Bros made it to SmackDown, not Zack Ryder.
Oh, is that what it was? Hype Bros.
Yeah, the Hype Bros is there.
The bro movement?
Yeah, they could be a part of the bro movement. I liked it. But yeah, immediately, that's what I pieced together. All right, that sucks for Zack Ryder because now he's back in that tag team, which I liked the tag team when he was only in the tag team. And then he would come up and, get squashed on Raw or SmackDown. But ever since WrestleMania, when they've kind of been giving him this little push, I thought, okay, maybe he's going to be the one to get the underdog win against Rusev. He's going to win the U.S. belt. This would have been awesome. A great way for it to happen, going into the brand split and everything. And nope, Rusev picked up the victory. It was kind of... I like Zack Ryder. I liked a lot of the parts. He seemed to kind of... I don't even know if you would consider this a comeback, but anytime, Rusev would start going and then he'd Ryder would kind of cut him off. He seemed to be throwing in his forearms. Pretty solid.
Those were solid forearms.
Yeah, a lot of even I liked how I hate his stupid broski kick or whatever, but it usually misses the first time, which I kind of like that because he's setting up with his woo woo woo. Clearly the guy's gonna know what he's setting up for, and he mostly misses, and then he ends up getting it again. And I like Zack Ryder. It was unfortunate they got 7 minutes. And he didn't pick up the win, and now he's going to be stuck on the Hype Bros on SmackDown. So.
With a guy that's completely buried because he looked like a fucking giant vagina.
Yeah.
Just standing there screaming at someone.
Yeah.
That was the dumbest run-in I have ever seen in wrestling.
That's his whole gimmick. It's kind of like
his gimmick?
This. Yeah, he's a Warrior Mark, which I found out from, what was that damn thing on WWE Network. I'm trying to plug something and can't even plug it. It was kind of like the behind the scenes on the NXT guys of Breaking Ground.
Breaking Ground.
Yeah, I kept wanting to say Battleground. Yeah, but on the Breaking Ground show, he talks about he's a Ultimate Warrior fan, which I could have guessed. I actually guessed that before, and then he kind of confirmed it because he has that. He runs out. He's all about high energy. Raven kind of it's always a party. Like that kind of thing. And that kind of fit Zack Ryder well to be a part of that group. But again, it sucks that he was kind of getting this push and then it gets stopped dead in its tracks. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
It'll probably stay like that.
Yeah.
So next we got Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn.
Yeah, this was the match of the night for me.
Definitely.
And
easily.
Yeah, I was going to say, and again, and to reiterate, a night with not a whole lot of memorable moments. This whole match was awesome.
Yeah, there was I constantly kept basically rewriting in different ways. Good match, great match,
Yeah.
all this different stuff.
Yeah.
So there was a couple botches, or mainly there's one botch where Sami Zayn tried to do like a springboard off the top.
Yeah,
like
a
a
moonsault. Yeah,
and that was like, oh shit, because he landed hard right on his shoulder, probably on the bad one too, knowing how fucking Murphy's Law works. It was probably right on the bad one.
Yeah.
So he kind of was holding his forearm. I don't know if that was part of the selling.
Yeah.
Or if it was legit.
Right. I was trying to think back of when he actually hurt his shoulder in the match against John Cena. I feel like he was kind of doing the same thing. He was more holding his arm close against his body, using his forearm, not necessarily
grabbing his shoulder.
Yeah, grabbing his shoulder or even grabbing his forearm that his forearm was in pain. I hope that it was just a selling on that and not him actually being injured. I didn't take a whole lot of notes because I was pretty glued to this match. So I was trying to jot stuff down. I wrote suplex on apron.
Oh.
The finish was 2 Helluva kicks or whatever, Helluva kicks.
Helluva, yeah.
Yeah, and then Sami Zayn wins. Those were my notes because I was just it was a great match. I love when these two get in the ring together because they beat the crap out of each other and it looks great.
I wrote, good match, a couple botches but great spots, and Sami Zayn wins for the first time in WWE.
Yeah,
I have no idea if that's right, but I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yeah, but it's pretty damn close.
I've never seen him win.
He's got to be 1-28 at this point or something. 2-28.
He's giving the old Detroit Lions a run for their money. So.
Exactly. That's a great reference. Oh, man. All right, so next we got Natalya and Becky Lynch.
The falling of the mega powers. Right? These were like the closest friends, and now they're fighting. I don't know what's going on.
At some point, they were the closest friends.
Dumbest feud ever.
Yeah, it had bright spots in it on some shows.
No.
I think the last SmackDown, I want to say before the pay-per-view, Becky Lynch came out and beat the crap out of Natalya. It looked great. There were some parts in there where I'm like, ooh, fuck, I think she's actually hitting her. But yeah, it was a weird feud. Just to get Natalya to turn heel, I guess, was the point of our mission accomplished.
And I guess part of her heel turn for Natalya is to cover up her boobs. Notice that?
Yeah.
The suit she was wearing completely covered up them titties.
Yeah, that'll get her heat.
Yeah, dude, fuck. That was the best part.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the only good
We're
part.
pissed. We hate her now.
And for some reason, I guess Becky Lynch hasn't got a nice battle chant. She yelled, fire! Like just before she did something. I think she missed the move. But
one of the main notes for me that I had in this is, and we talked about in our best finisher list, go back and listen to it on iTunes and watch it on YouTube. the sharpshooter.
Or just listen to this now because we're pretty much going to say the same shit.
Yeah. No, we need listens. We need views.
Oh, yes. Go check that out, Randall.
Yeah. Randall. Yes, please, Bob. Help us out.
He doesn't like the wrestling stuff.
Oh, Bob, you ass. You won't even know that I'm saying this then.
Good. Yeah, 'cause he's a dick face.
Yeah. The sharpshooter was Natalya is one of the best at putting it on, really wrenches it in, and she half-assed it.
Yep.
And
a very lazy sharpshooter.
And it was like 2 or 3 times, I think, that she was trying to put it on.
She sat on it, but she left the legs wide. And barely tied up.
Right. Completely loose, wide and loose, the way you don't like it. Well, wide.
I don't know. Sometimes it's cool to get your... anyway. I was showing my fist.
Yeah, you can't see that part, but... Yeah, so it was weird. They had some solid strikes in this match, I thought. They were laying it in pretty well, and then it was kind of... it took me out of the moment with the shitty sharpshooter she was putting on. And she's one of the best at doing it. Really wrenches it in. That just shows you're not that much of a heel. You can't even do that to your... You
can't even tighten it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote down a lot of reversals. There's a lot of reversals in this. They kept switching up moves.
Which I kind of like that, actually. It just depends on how it's done, but yeah, a lot of reversals.
Yep, and that was it. So now let's move on to The Miz versus Darren Young.
So I botched the timer on this one, just shy of 8 minutes.
No one gives a shit. This match sucked ass.
Yeah, it was really weird. I like Darren Young. I started to see more on the internet, but my cousin made a joke where he says, "Make Darren Young great again. He was never great to begin with." I got a good laugh out of that, but I can see where they're going with this. I like it, but the match was terrible, and the ending, have no idea what even happened.
Dumbest finisher ever.
Yeah.
Dumbest finish ever. I wrote down 4 things. Dumbest finish ever. Bob Backlund in a straitjacket.
Pretty much.
Skipping over the finisher skipping over the finish like nothing happened. Mm-hmm. And fuck you, Cole, was what I wrote. Because they were just like, the bell rang. Now let's cut to something else.
Right, but what the fuck even happened? Bob Backlund
supposed to be a double DQ. Who the fuck knows?
He struggled to get his damn shirt off, and then supposedly Maurice falls, pretending that he
hit her.
Yeah, and then
she broke a heel. I don't know.
Yeah, and then the Miz came out. And I'm assuming what was supposed to happen is the Miz was supposed to hit Backlund, which he pushes him. And then Backlund was supposed to get up and retaliate, and then that would cause the disqualification. But what happened is then they end up playing Darren Young's music at the end. And I don't know if that's because he got the upper hand using the cross-face chicken wing, KFC thing. Or whatever, but it was weird. It sucked for these two guys because I like Miz as a heel. Always makes me laugh, and I actually think he's one of the heels that has solid heat. Like people just hate him, and adding his hot wife Maurice was a perfect addition.
Putting a dick on his face.
Yeah,
like when he came out for this one.
Yeah, how could you not hate that?
This dude was laughing like crazy because he's like, he has a penis on his face.
I'm so mature.
Oh, dude, it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was great, but it sucks that they have this. I mean, short opportunity of 8 minutes, or whatever.
Hey, some of us do our best work in 8 minutes, my friend.
8 minutes, damn, marathon man.
Hell yeah, at least 3 times. So now we're gonna actually go into a better match: the Club versus Enzo, Cass, and Cena.
Yep. I was looking forward to this match. I like, pretty much everyone in it. Cena is kind of up there for me. He has things that I like about him, things I don't like about him. I'm just going to go right to the finish. Cena pinning AJ is what I don't like about him. Why? You don't need that. The build has been so great, and we even said this is how it should go, is that pretty much every time John Cena tries to get the upper hand, he gets his ass kicked. And that's how it should go. You build up the Club, but maybe because they're like, we're splitting you fuckers up anyways, that it didn't matter. And I don't know if this is the end of the feud or John Cena and AJ are going to feud to SummerSlam by themselves now.
Yeah, I'm sure that's how it's going to go. They're going to feud till SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So, Enzo, I believe, has stolen and perfected the Red Rooster gimmick that Terry Taylor used to have.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. Look back, and you will find that Terry Taylor did this 20 No, 25 years ago.
Yeah, wow.
He did this. He did this gimmick, and now Enzo
Got it over.
He's getting it over now.
Yeah.
Just look that up, and you will see the greatness of Terry Taylor, the Red Rooster.
Oh yeah. So I guess backing up a little bit, I've loved the build to this. I liked adding Enzo and Cass. I'm a mark for those guys, so it was perfect fit for me. Again, why you split this whole feud up? They had great back and forth chemistry on the mic. And for someone who just throws a bunch of punchlines with Enzo, yep. and then the club was able to kind of come back and still be entertaining, still make me laugh, and kind of keep the heat going between them both. I thought was awesome, and now they're kind of putting the kibosh on that whole thing. The finish to the match was kind of shitty, in my opinion. I hated the fact that Cena went over.
The way this whole thing started with the promos, I thought was how the match was going to go. Cena just stood to the side, didn't say anything, and let Enzo and Cass just go nuts on the mic, mainly Enzo. Right. And Enzo had a great promo in the beginning, and then the match was pretty much all Enzo and Cass versus the club. Cena was almost never tagged in.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden at the end, they decided to tag him in, and I wrote down new dumbest finish ever. Next to The Miz and Young were fucking one of the dumbest finishes ever, and now this is the new dumbest finish ever. Why have it just seems like, you had to get Cena the pin. Why? And I don't get it. You should have just had Enzo and Cass. I mean, people would have been shouting meaningless, but having Enzo or Cass just pin one of the club guys, because they're both getting separated by brands, and so it just wouldn't have meant anything.
Maybe, but I don't know. I liked the match. I actually did like most of the match, and maybe it's because John Cena was out of most of it.
Probably.
But I liked it. It was good, fast paced, had good spots in it.
It's just the way Cena came in. He came in, he did his fucking shitty moves, which I hate.
Exactly.
And he had to get them all in, his 5 fucking piece of shit knuckle shuffle thing.
Yeah.
He had to get that in, then he had to get the attitude adjustment or the FU, whatever you want to call it. Then he put him up on the top rope and did it to him then.
At least, I'll give him it took from the top rope to be AJ, but still, like, come on, I don't know. I feel like the whole match was overshadowed by the fact that John Cena got the pin,
right?
Because to me, the match was good. Had the ending, been better, then maybe I'd have more to talk about. But I'm just kind of disappointed that that was the end of this feud that was my favorite part of Raw and SmackDown, and even in the singles parts, when they just have AJ against Enzo or whatever. It was my favorite parts of both those shows, and then this is how it ends with the club splitting up and AJ getting beat. That's terrible.
And that's, again, my whole problem with the brand split in general. I think it was unnecessary. So.
Yeah.
All right, next we have the Randy Orton interview, which I don't really give two fucking fucks about Randy Orton. So this wasn't a big deal for me.
Really?
He's there. He's a good guy. He's got good matches. I just don't think they give him the momentum that he needs sometimes. I think he just gets put in very generic scenarios a lot.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So I guess maybe not so much him personally. It's nothing I have anything against him. It's just that his storylines and everything are just really super generic, and all of his matches end with some amazing way he can pull off the RKO.
Yeah,
so
maybe that's exciting.
It's become very formulaic. Maybe this is a new venture now that he's facing Brock Lesnar.
Oh no, it's Brock Lesnar.
Bork Laser.
Bork Laser.
Never mind. Anyway,
all right. I liked this segment actually. I love Chris Jericho as a heel. Please fucking keep him as a heel.
I hope they keep him for a while. I hope he sticks with this for a while.
Yeah, he's great. His sarcastic attitude, even when I hear him talk, well, obviously everyone hears him talk so much about the thumbtacks, but it's hilarious how he keeps bringing it up.
Yeah.
Like, somehow he finds a way to shoehorn that in, and I almost...
69 checks in.
And I almost... Yeah, exactly. It's like a little child. It's great. I like this segment. I like the back and forth between Jericho and, how he's teasing, like, oh, you're gonna hit me with it out of nowhere now? How about now? It was making me laugh, and then Randy Orton has the great lines of, I'm gonna take Brock Lesnar to Viperville and no enhancement needed.
And the whole time I was yelling at the TV, someone needs to make this joke. Someone needs to say something either about Roman Reigns and the Outerall, or Brock Lesnar and whatever he was caught with, whatever steroid he was caught with.
Right.
And I thought some laser-focused jokes with Roman Reigns would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
You need to be focused, Reigns. You need to be focused. I thought something like that. Yeah. And finally, someone did nut up and make the comment about Brock and the enhancement. So
that was great.
And it seems like you had a pretty shoot reaction by Jericho when he said it.
That was kind of my favorite part
of that. You're going to regret
thing.
that, and fucking Orton's face kind of changed a little bit. Yeah, probably.
I like the look on Jericho's face where he's like, oh, shit. Like, I can't believe you just said that. And then, like you said, he said, you're going to pay for that. You're going to regret that, Orton. And then even kind of the part where he does the fake RKO, and then he starts laughing and gives him the real
actual
RKO. Yeah. So it was done well. I liked it. I didn't time it, but
it was long.
Yeah.
It was a little too long.
Yeah. It was probably could have been condensed a little bit. Not probably. It definitely could have been condensed a little bit.
So next we have the triple threat match between Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins.
Oh yeah, for the WWE Championship now, not World Heavyweight Championship.
Title.
Yeah.
Super duper heavyweight title.
There you go. It matches the SmackDown initials.
Yeah.
Super duper. Yes.
There we go. We're creative.
Yeah. The notes that I had on this, the Ambrose, strange start. Well, actually, I noted strange start, but the whole match was kind of half-assed.
I put Dean looks bad. He was doing things. It was very sloppy. And I'm a huge Dean Ambrose fan. Yeah. I want this guy to succeed.
Me too.
It seemed like in the beginning of this match, he was half-assing it a lot. Like his kicks just looked awful. Like they were not even close to look like they were even touching whoever he was kicking at the time.
What sucks for me is I've been refraining from arguing against the people who are saying, oh, he's a poor man's Brian Pillman, just a ripoff. He's, a half-assed Austin kind of thing. And I haven't gotten into these arguments with, stupid-ass people on the internet. Fortunately so, because then he would make me look stupid, because you even commented and said Money in the Bank. You made the same remark of like, man, he's half-assing this. He's probably not going to win, and he fucking wins.
Right.
And then you said the same thing.
Yeah, I was like, he must not be winning tonight because he's half-assing the shit out of stuff. His promos have gone up leaps and bounds, becoming champion, but his work did not come up with it. Like he had good work, but sometimes he just gets lazy in some of these matches.
Yeah,
when he's kicking someone, I don't know if he's expecting someone to come in with a spot sooner, and he's just kind of half-assing it. I have no idea, but there was a couple parts where he just looked awful.
Yeah, well, and there's that one guy who's always on Austin's podcast who complains about his punches. Well, now I can kind of agree with him. Like, he just throws it in and it looks awful. I don't get it. I don't know. You're finally at that top level. You're being recognized for it. And
start punching motherfuckers. Start kicking motherfuckers.
Right. Fucking do what Roman Reigns does. He beats the crap out of these people and doesn't care.
And that's another thing about this match I noticed. Reigns definitely lost the swagger that he was building through all these past pay-per-views.
Yeah.
With that cocky, swaying attitude he has during the matches.
Yeah.
Even after the powerbomb, usually he does the tongue sticking out. Like, yeah, what's up? Look. Right. He did a powerbomb in this one. Nothing in his face. He's definitely lost some of that emotion.
Which sucks because
that was one of the best parts of him.
Yeah. He started kind of playing off of, I could be a heel. I'm just a prick, so like me or don't like me, whatever. And that actually fit his stupid thing that he says, I'm not, a good guy, bad guy, I'm the guy. That kind of fits, because I started liking that. So, all right, I like him. If you don't like it, fine. That's great. He's there, one of the top guys. And now that was completely gone in this match. Just kind of disappointing to see.
He still has the best kickouts in wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care what you say. I'm going to say this every wrestling podcast we have.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns has the best kickouts in wrestling.
Yeah.
I can't even think of the smallest fraction possible. But whatever it is, 2 and whatever, like a cunt hair before 3.
Yeah, exactly. So, we're not math majors here by any means.
I think a half, something like that.
Yeah, but he 2.5. But there's not every time, but times when he gets pinned. Actually, I think he had a 1 count in this.
Yeah,
which I liked that because I've always thought that wrestlers should kind of build on early. If they get pinned early in the match, it should be a 1 count. As the match progresses, it should be a 2 count, then a later 2 count.
Right.
And I didn't pay attention to a lot of the other ones. I just paid attention to the fact that there was a 1 count, and then as the match progressed, and he was getting those just barely up, where you're like, fuck, is that the end? And it looks like it. Where you're like, fuck, that's going to be the finish. And boom, nope, he gets it up. After a pedigree, I think was one of them.
Yeah.
So the finish was good. I definitely liked the exchange on the finish.
There was a couple things I wish would have happened. First, I'm going to trail back a little bit before Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins teamed up on Reigns to powerbomb through the table. So you have some Shield flashbacks there on a Shield member.
Right.
So one of the best parts was one of the Spanish announce guys. Before they even did anything, he just hurdles over a wall, and all I could picture is as he jumps over the wall, he just yells "fuck Trump" and just fucking does it. Just that's all I pictured, and that's how I think.
That'd be perfect.
So, yeah, and so then we get to the finish. Roman Reigns hits a Superman punch and a spear on Rollins. He barely gets on top of Rollins, and then Dean comes in. I would have liked to have at least a 2 count. Okay, and then Dean picks him up and does the dirty deeds. Mm-hmm. Or at least hits him with a chair, then dirty deeds.
Right.
Something. He just kind of just comes in there, picks him up, and drops him. Roman Reigns just got the offensive hand on him, and there's no reason he should be able just to go right up into dirty deeds like that. And
okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
That was my problem with it.
Yeah, because he wasn't on the defense. I mean, I guess you can argue that...
but he shouldn't just get up right into a guy's finisher.
Yeah, I mean, it is towards the end of the match, he's kind of beaten up and stuff, and so
You're making excuses.
I am. That's what I'm saying. I guess you could kind of argue.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I didn't look at it that way, but you make a good point.
He should have hit him with a chair, then dirty deeds, or he should have done something, and there should have at least been a 2 count to add a little bit of suspense to it.
Right.
Like, you didn't even get anything out of it. He got the spear and the Superman punch, then the spear, and you didn't even get a fucking count. He barely even got on top of him before he already pulled him off and did the dirty deeds. So, I think there was a little bit of a botch time on that one. And I actually have Dean wins, unlike the guy next to me who put Reigns wins.
Oh my gosh! I'm glad you read my notes. What the fuck? I wonder if I was getting ahead of myself.
I saw that. I was just cracking up.
Right. Wow. All right, folks. That's the end for me. My career is over.
He doesn't even know how to spell Dean.
Well, I put D-A. Oh, because I just put Reigns.
Yeah. It's a funny way to spell Dean.
That's terrible.
Okay, well, that finishes our breakdown of Battleground, or analysis of Battleground. That sounds better. We'll go with that.
Yeah, our discussion.
Our jolly good time discussion.
Yeah, I hope it wasn't super monotone. There wasn't a whole lot of excitement in this. After coming out of Money in the Bank, which I thought was a pretty solid pay-per-view, and into this, right before the brand split, is meh. And so...
I guess actually we should give a grade on this.
C.
Yeah. That's exactly what,
yeah.
And I'm saying C, like the letter, not C-S.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I'm not agreeing with you.
Yeah. C. We.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I give it a C, maybe almost a C minus, just because there's some terrible things. 2 of these matches ended poorly, and then the Mojo Rawling run-in. There was a lot of really down points. Right. There's a couple... The Sami Zayn Owens, if that match wasn't on this thing, this card would be like a D minus.
Well, because
maybe an F plus.
Right, these were all supposed to be an F plus. Exactly. These were supposed to be the ends of feuds. I'm assuming, with the brand split. Except there's some of them that can kind of continue. I think Natalya, Becky Lynch, John Cena, AJ, obviously,
Owens and Sami.
Oh yeah, they're both. Well, that's supposed to be the end of it. They're like,
that's what they say.
Yeah, we can't keep going with this.
But as soon as they need a good match for SummerSlam,
right? Which the way you're looking at it, and all of these, they weren't great closure at all. They were way too short of matches, and I guess because you have this many matches, that's what you have to do. But I don't know, it just didn't fit. Didn't work for me. So
okay, now that actually concludes the analysis, breakdown, discussion of Battleground.
Mundane back and forth.
So make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Comic Movie Marks. Like us and review us on iTunes.
Oh, yeah. And follow us on all social media. We are at Comic Movie Marks on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And that's the bottom line.
'Cause the mark said so.
Ooh, yeah.